Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Heather with Creativity by Heather BE, and today I am so excited to be sharing a card with you using some products from the Ink Road. I've loved this company for a while and I honestly have several of their stamps. I just have not really had the time to use them. So when I got my couple orders today, I decided I wanted to sit down right away and create a quick card. So whenever you order a certain amount, you get your products in this awesome big black box. And I love Lara, the owner of the company. She always writes a little note thanking you personally. And then also this card was included as well. So another thing that you get when you order from the Ink Road is you will usually get a little envelope or a little bag that has sequins and some great little goodie. So because I actually have two orders here, I got two of them, and one of them, what I just showed you, is a planner glue pen, I believe is what it is, and then those gorgeous metallic heart stickers, which I'm really excited to use. And then you also get confetti inside those little envelopes, which I will be using on my card today. So as I said, this was actually two orders, and the first one here, this is called Bun Intended, and there are actually two of these now. I've ordered the other one, which is on the way. This is a stamp called Fir Real, and I am going to be using this stamp in today's card. I love the different shapes and different designs of the trees. Now this is actually a bundled release, which is why I got the big box, and this one's called Bazinga. This is Sass Master, which has a lot of really fun sentiments. I love the one that says sorry not sorry. Are You Serious, Clark? This is the other one we're going to be using today, one of my favorite Christmas movies. And then this one I believe is called Mom of Boys, and I do have two boys. They're older, but my sister has two young boys, my two nephews, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of cards I can make for her that she'll relate. So let's go ahead and get started on the card today. So what I'm going to be doing is basically creating my own pattern embossed paper using one of the trees from the Fir Real set. So I'm going to start out by doing a red background, and I wanted to use three different Oxide inks, and to kind of get a slight ombre effect. It's not going to be real noticeable that it's from light to dark, but I just wanted a little bit of an ombre effect for the background. So I'm using Candied Apple, Festive Berries, and Fired Brick for my background. I was going to use Aged Mahogany, and I ended up switching that out for Fired Brick. I didn't really want something that dark. So I'm just laying these down. You can see it has a little bit of an ombre effect, but not a lot. I just more wanted just to have some different tones in the background. So I chose one of the stamps from the Fir Real set, and I was at first going to stamp out a variety of them, but because I'm using the Are You Serious, Clark set, some of the fancier ones didn't seem to go with the whole theme of the actual set, so I decided to just stick with the one that looked a little more traditional, although I will be using the rest of these in a card very soon. I love the different designs. Some of them are very contemporary, some are more traditional, so this is a great set. And it has some awesome sentiments in it as well. So I am using my Brutus Monroe clear embossing ink, and as I've said before, and this is a great ink to use with this technique specifically, when you're stamping up an entire panel that you're going to heat emboss, this embossing ink does not dry. So it only dries once it's heat set. So you can kind of take your time and go through and do your entire panel and then put the embossing powder over the entire thing, which is nice if you're doing just one color. So you can see I tipped it up and kind of showed you, angled it so you can see where they are. And I do that, I actually did that a lot as I was going through it, just so I could kind of see where my placement was, because I didn't want to overlap my trees. Because if you overlap your images when you add the embossing powder, I don't like the effect that you get. So I always make sure when I'm doing this that I've got my, whatever I'm stamping is not overlapping each other. So I am using the Brutus Monroe Emerald City. It's a really pretty green that has some gold in it, and I'm actually going to heat emboss the Happy Christmas from the Are You Serious, Clark in gilded embossing, so I wanted the gold to pull through, so that's why I used the Emerald City. So I'm going to heat set this, and there are some areas, there's a gap right there where I was going to put a tree, but I was afraid it would overlap because I couldn't see it very well. And then I decided to not stress or worry about it and just put my other stamp that I'm actually going to stamp on some vellum over top of that area so you won't even be able to see it. So don't stress yourself out over things like that. Just kind of figure out a way to hide it or make it work for your card. So I left this in the video because I wanted you to see. I decided, because it was distress inks, that I wanted to give the background some more interest, and so I just splattered some water on there, and I didn't like it. When it was done, I was not crazy about it. I didn't like the way it looked. I really wished I hadn't done it. And so the nice thing about distress inks and the oxides, especially because they go on so smooth, is all I had to do was get my inks back out and go right over it again. Because what that color is doing is actually just, or the water is doing, is actually just removing some of that ink. So if you don't like the look you get, you can always go right back in. And because I had heat embossed, now all I need to do is just take a dry cloth and go over my green trees to get the ink off, and back to the way we started. So I left that in to show you that even when you make a mistake, especially with the oxides, it's so easy to go back in and fix it. So for the main stamp that's going on this card, I decided to do it on vellum. So I'm using some heat resistant vellum from Brutus Monroe, and I have heat embossed on vellum in videos before, and you know, I've told you that you have to be very careful with it. You have to kind of put the heat to it and take it away, and put the heat to it and take it away. And one thing with this heat resistant vellum is it's really nice. It's a thick consistency. It's the size of an A2 card, which is nice, but you don't have to be so careful with it. So you'll see here, I'm putting my gilded embossing powder, and I'm using the Happy Christmas is the stamp that I'm using. And you'll see once I heat emboss it, I'm kind of pulling it away a little bit, but not as much as you would traditional vellum. So this is the first time I've used this. I was really impressed with this product. I do have heat resistant acetate, which I really like, but I have never used the vellum. So I was excited, and you can see I didn't really pull the gun away that much, and I'm using a Wagner heat gun, which puts out a lot of heat. So I used a MFT die to cut this out, my favorite things die, and I'll have all the products linked below. And I'm just used small amounts of I'm about to say ink, small amounts of glue behind where I had heat embossed, and it kind of bubbled up a little bit where I had the glue. But it was on the tree and the car, if you remember in the movie, it was like one of those wood panel station wagons. So it actually I liked it. It didn't really bother me that it was there. So I used some of the sequins that came free in my little package. They worked perfectly, and I love that there were different sizes. So I just put glue down, and then I'm reaching over and adding them on. And that's the finished card. I'm going to add this to a Nina 110-pound panel. And there you go. So simple. Such a fun Christmas card. Just love this movie. And using two stamps that I combined to make one beautiful card. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you can see future videos. Thank you so much, and have a great day.